everybody. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing fine tonight. I hope everybody out there can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me, if you can hear me, please give me a number 1. So I know that everything is good to go here. I moved some stuff around and I want to make sure everything is on the up and up so everybody can hear me. And we'll get going on. There we go. Number 1s are coming in. Thank you very much. I do appreciate everybody being here tonight. We have a quite the discussion we're going to have tonight because there's a awful lot of questions about what's going on out here, and I just don't I don't get it. I don't understand what is really taking place here. Let's run down through and see who's all here right now. My prepping journey. Nancy Floyd's here. How you doing? JT. Jan's here. Shirley's here. Let's see. Pitbull's here also. Brandy's here. How you doing, Brandy? Coffee first and speak. So my moderators are all here. JT, Jan, and Coffee first and speak. Robin is here. Robin's in the house. Sylvia's here. Let's scroll on down through. SR Huck Jr. Good evening, everyone. I hope this will be informative. There's so much most people don't know. This is so true. Bambi's here. Bambi's from England. Welcome from England. It's nice to see you. They haven't been told to prepare their rumors of winter blackouts, and Prime Minister Liz says we won't have any. This is the Prime Minister that sacked her counselor on Friday. Oh, isn't that nice? But thank you for showing up. Marsha's here. Let's see here. Who else is in here? Vieira's here. Lefty Lisa is here from Pennsylvania. Free at last. Jeannie, Mary, how are y'all doing? Shy Moment, how are you? Let's see, Jeannie N. Scroll through. I'm jumping around, so if I miss your name, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Let's go down through. We're going to get going here in just a second, folks. MBG is here. Hope everybody is doing well. Caribbean House. Miss P Kitty 13 is here. Nice to see you. As always, Jan and JT and Coffee first. I always like to thank my moderators, and I also like to thank all my members also. And speaking of members, I don't know how many members are in here right now, but members, please, Bob R. Hey, how you doing? There's a member. Pitbull's a member. All members, please, if you would, please. Jimmy C's here. All members, remember this. All right, real quick. You have to make sure that you go in and turn on your notifications so that you get notified when I release a video or something. I put a members only video out today, and I don't know how many you've actually seen it. I believe there's like 15 members right now. So you're going to start getting a lot of members only videos. You're going to get first release and stuff like this. So you got to make sure you go in and turn your notifications on so that you get notified. So you get part of what you're paying for. Okay. So that's what I'm working towards, is making sure that you all are getting what I am promising to you, but you have to go in and turn on the notifications tab so you get notified when there's members only content that comes out. Corey, free at last. Dee's Craft. Dan's here. Kit. Oh, I just jumped again. There is a lot of people that's rolling in here right now. Rocka Moss is here as another member. And so we all just need to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing here. And we're going to get going on this video. And I guess the big question is why is it that all these other countries are, um, they're basically they're being told, maybe not so much England because Brandy did, she commented that that wasn't being done there in England. But overseas, over in Sweden, over in Finland, a lot of these countries and stuff, they're all beefing up everything. They're telling their people to be prepared. They've sent out pamphlets and everything else on what people need to be doing and you know, where they need to go and what they need to have and everything else. And once again, what is our government doing for us? This is a big question I have. We have all this uncertainty that's going on around us. And the only thing that I could find that we could fall back on is ready.gov. Okay, so if you go to ready.gov, it's going to pull up this page. And in there, it lists everything from a snowstorm to a hurricane, tsunami, nuclear war, you name it, it's listed in there. And they tell you how to prepare for this. Okay, this is something that's been going on they did this who knows how long ago, when this was last updated through the government. Now, why is it that they can't tell us really what is going on? Now, I did put a poll out, and the poll was quite interesting. For all of you that did not partake in the poll was, why is our government not telling us to prepare? Now, the first answer was they don't want to scare us. That was only 2% of you. Now, this is out of, looks like, a couple hundred people. All right. Another one was they don't want to start a mass panic. That was 24%. They don't believe it will ever happen. 4% of you said that. The country is broke and they can't afford to save us all. That was 16%. And the winner, which I agree with, is they're not going to tell us the truth till it's too late. And that was 54%. So where does that leave us at this point in time? You've got a lot of people out here. They have no clue what is going on. They have nothing. A lot of these countries have turned around and they have previously, months ago, sent mailers out to all their people, millions of these things, on what to do, how to prepare, what you need to be thinking about. And yet our government has done nothing. They haven't told us, Biden made that, well, I'm going to call it the slip of the tongue here a week or so ago when he mentioned something about nuclear Armageddon, right? We all probably heard that in the news because that made front page of everything. But what are they're retracting a lot of that? It's like he speaks something, and sometimes I wonder. Now I know there's not a lot of Biden fans out there, but sometimes I wonder if he forgets that he's not supposed to be telling us something. And he makes the slip of the tongue and the news comes out. And the next thing you know, well, holy cow, we got to retract this. How are we going to do this and play this back and make it look like, well, nothing's really wrong? And here in a few minutes, I'm going to get into some things that I think that people should be preparing and things that you need to be gathering as we speak. But anyways, I believe that sometimes when he has this slip of the tongue, and then all of a sudden they're trying to retract all this stuff back, as in the White House, all these aides, um, all these different people, it should be putting a red flag up to the American people. Hey, something's going on here. Maybe we should start really looking into this a little bit. And if it wasn't such a big deal, then why are all these countries that are overseas in Europe beefing up their military? They're beefing up, their ammunition, their all their men. They're beefing up their bunkers. They're going through, they're evaluating their bunkers. They're seeing what their bunkers need. If they need repair, they're refixing them. If they need stock, they're stocking them. So, okay, what is taking place here? I've got several different comments on a video I did the other day. And I've also got a few emails where people are telling me that in their area, there are no longer any bunkers left. So where does that leave us? It makes you really wonder. One would think that if you had these bunkers back during the Cold War, okay, Cuban Missile Crisis, Cold War, whatever, you would have maintained some of these bunkers in certain areas to a certain extent, kind of like what they're doing over in Sweden and stuff. And they're going through their 62,000 bunkers that they have and making sure that they're up to power and making sure that they are stocked with the right supplies and fresh supplies. But yet here in America, we just let that stuff go. And, when we need it, well, it's a little too late to stock it then, don't one think? The government isn't really telling us the truth. They're sitting here and they're blowing smoke, and it's all smoke and mirrors. They want to make it look like nothing will ever happen to us because we live in America. There's nothing's going to ever happen to us. We're fine. Don't you guys worry. Don't worry about anything. Where I live, right out here at Cape Canaveral, they have nukes. So one would think if something happens, somebody's going to be going after first any type of nuclear defense if they can sneak something in and try to take something out. I'm not in a good position, but at this point in time, I'm stuck here. If you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of great books that are out there. And I'm thinking I'm going to start, I have one of them. And I'm thinking I'm going to start going through this book. And I might start doing a video on state to state on where you rank, why you rank there, and things that you need to be aware of in your own state. Because a lot of people just don't realize what they have in their backyard. You live there, everything looks really beautiful. It's all real nice and everything else. But then all of a sudden, you got a big bullseye in your backyard. You see what I'm saying, folks? A lot of people think where they may be living is a safe place, when in all reality, the only real safe place to live is Iceland. And that is because it is so desolate. And that is also because there's really nothing there. So why would somebody want to waste a nuclear bomb to Iceland? Really, think about it. But when you guys can do it. Do it right now. Google, where's the safest place to live in a nuclear war? It's right there. Oh, and to all these people that had the comments about, I mentioned Defcon And everybody says, well, they don't announce that. It's public knowledge, folks. So if you go to the site, I'm going to post this in the comments, in the description below so everybody can see it. You go to defconlevel.com, all one word. You go right there and they give you what your Defcon level is. Right now, it is a 3 in America. It is a 2 in Europe. 1 is when the shit hits the fan. So that is the only real thing that we really have to go by, but you really have to monitor that. And you really have to know what you're, a lot of people don't understand how it works and what it means and everything else. That website will break it down for you and will tell you exactly what all the different stages mean and what you need to be doing at that point in time. Obviously, if we were at a DEFCON 5, everybody could be sitting on the beach drinking pina coladas with not a care in the world. But we don't have that. We're sitting on inflation. We're sitting on what, 31, 32 trillion dollars in debt. We got Ukraine that's sitting here turning around and they want more money and more guns, ammo, and bombs and systems and the whole 9 yards. It's like, do you want us just to come in here and do this for you? I mean, really. The biggest question I have is, why is it that all of a sudden now Russia is pulling out of certain areas that they sat there and took them months to conquer, and now they're pulling them out, and you got Ukraine that's rolling in saying that they're freeing these towns or whatever, but there's no resistance there. Why is this? Shouldn't that be a red flag for everybody? Because one would think if you're going to do something crazy and you really don't want to do anything catastrophic to your own men. Now, there are a few things that we really do have to really be watching for. I mean, the rhetoric has already started out of Putin's mouth. So that's already there. All right. He keeps threatening this stuff every other day. All right. There's plenty of YouTube channels you can watch, and they talk about that every single day, every single video, and everything else. All right. You got to start watching for withdrawal men. You got to start watching what happens in the Black Sea. If he starts moving all his stuff out of the Black Sea as battleships and all that kind of stuff, and he starts moving that out of there, something's going down, folks. All right. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this kind of stuff out. Have any of you ever played the game of Risk? Really? If you played the game of Risk, give me a number 1. I want to see who's played the game of Risk. It's an old game. It's a great game. I love that game. But it's the same principle. It's all in how you move your men around on the board. And that's the same thing as what we are dealing with here. Okay? They have to start moving and positioning your men. Now, Russia has a very large army. Now, how well trained these people are is still yet to be seen, because they really haven't impressed me too much. But a lot of people do believe, now I have no proof of this, this is just my opinion, but a lot of people do have opinions on the same as mine, that what we have been seeing isn't like the real, quote, Russia military. This is more of, the go-getters, go in there, serve your time, whatever. Because, Russia has a very large military, but they've only used just a small part in this little escapade of theirs that they're trying to overtake and take over Ukraine and make it Russia again. So one has to wonder what they are up to. And that still keeps leading me back to, why isn't the government telling us to do some type of preparation? Because this is what we're seeing. This is what we're hearing. And this past week, I was laid up and I watched a lot of different news from other countries. And you can put the captions on, you can change it over to English so you can see and understand what the heck they're saying, because unless you know all these different languages, you're not going to understand anything. But it's very interesting to see what is being reported from all these other countries over there in Europe. And then you turn on our news and it's nothing like that. We only get to hear whatever they're talking about. Right now, it's all about the January 6th stuff. It's about, they're talking about inflation. The stock market went up today. Well, it went down tomorrow. And, I mean, it's the same old, same old. We don't hear any real news. You do get a brief thing, but they may show you a car or something that's blown up. It's like, what are they trying to shelter us? Like there's, Russia really isn't doing anything. If you guys really want to see some of the war video, what's really going on in Ukraine, you need to start looking into some of these other news agencies that are over there that are reporting on a lot of this different stuff. Because what they're doing is horrendous. I would say it's war crimes, because they're not really trying to take out, if they really wanted to, I mean, come on, you tell me you can't take out main structures, go after the capital, go after electricity, go after gas, go after transit, or whatever. They're bombing the piss out of all these buildings that are full of innocent people. But do you really think that that's going to come back around to Putin? No. And if it does, who's going to go after him? Because then all he's going to do is turn around and threaten to use his nukes again. He's like a little kid. Okay? If something ticks him off and he doesn't get his way, the first thing he does is play his trump card. And that's the worst thing that you could freaking do. You don't want to show all your cards right up front. You got to play the game. But see, I don't think that he's very good at playing the game. Okay, yeah, okay. He was a KGB officer, high rank, whatever, and all this kind of stuff, which kind of floors me with the way that he is predicting and the way that he runs his mouth. You would think that you would save that trump card until you're backed up against the wall. So once again, does that mean that he's backed up against the wall because that's all he's playing is the trump card? And yet, once again, our government is sitting back and telling us nothing. We're just supposed to go on about our daily lives. You're supposed to be going out there, busting your rear end, trying to make a few dollars so you can go to the store to afford that $5 gallon of milk and $6 dozen eggs, because they're just killing us. But yet we can send 30 or 40 more billion dollars over to Ukraine. Now, I don't have a problem with supporting them in this fashion. Okay, here's the problem that I have. Now, if they need military assistance, as far as if they need more missiles, they need certain systems, they need tanks, they need whatever they need. Okay, fine. But why is it we have to keep sending them billions of dollars? What are they doing with all this money? Is anybody actually in the government actually keeping track of what they're spending all this money on? Because all these countries now are giving them whatever they need. So why do they need the cash? Has anybody asked that question yet? That goes right along with the question is, why is it that all these other countries are being warned and being told, listen, all right, this could happen. You need to be prepared for you and your family. You need to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that you can survive. Now, here's a big misconception real quick before I move on to what I'm going to tell everybody here, what things that you need to be really looking at. The big misconception of this whole thing with a catastrophic event, as in a nuclear or whatever. You have all these people out here that sit there and say, well, I don't want to live. I'm just going to die. Actually, the chances of you living are a lot greater than what a lot of people think. If you're within the dead zone, as I call it, all right, wherever the bomb drops within so many mile range, depending on the size of the bomb, obviously, yes, you're not going to survive unless you're in a real deep bunker somewhere or something like that. But the chances of survival are very, very slim. Second, what people don't really realize is the bomb can drop here, right here. 200 miles away, the bomb comes over to here, but it's the fallout from the bomb. So you have these two different points. All this stuff moves through the air, then it falls down. All right. Nuclear radiation would probably be one of the most worst ways that you could want to die in any way, shape, or form. No, I'm not trying to be a fearmonger here, okay? Before everybody starts jumping in and calling me a fearmonger, I'm explaining to you what takes place because some people just don't know. So you have the nuclear fallout that follows through the air. Whichever way the wind's blowing, that's where it's going to go. That is what can kill you in a slow, agonizing death. Usually it happens within 2 to 3 weeks. Your whole system just slowly keeps shutting down, and you go through this incredible, painful time in your life when you just wish you were dead, and you're not. So that is why I'm going to sit here, I'm going to tell you what you people out there in America, or anybody that is listening, because I know there are people on here from all over, things that you can do to be prepared for this particular situation. Now, we all know about having your food, having your dry food put up, having it stored in Mylar bags, in buckets so that it's completely sealed. It's a perfect way to store your dry goods. All right. So this way here, hopefully it's kept away from any contaminants. You have canned goods. We all know we're supposed to have canned goods and everything else. In the event that if something did happen catastrophically, now I'm going to use that word in place of the N word. Follow me on this. All right. If in the event, and if we had a catastrophic event, you got to make sure that you have water. You have to make sure that at that point in time, if you know that something is going to take place or that the catastrophic event has been launched, you need to try to secure the water you can at that given time. You may only have minutes. You don't know. But what you may have to make sure that you're doing is filling up any containers that you do have with water. This is where a water bob like the video that I did would come in real handy, especially if you had a couple of bathtubs. You could buy 2 of those things, probably for like 40, 45 bucks for 2 of them. And you can get 100 plus gallons of water that you can store inside of a complete plastic liner that fits inside your bathtub. Having that to secure your water, to try to ration your water to get you through the time period that you need to be planning for, is critical. You also want to be sitting back and you want to be thinking about ways that you can basically purify your water. If it's been contaminated, I'm not so sure that there's actually a system out there that can take the radiation contamination out of the water. I've started doing some research and I'll have to get back to you on that one. Now, you do have the Berkeleys, you have Sawyer minis, you have all these different types, but I don't know if they actually would pull out the nuclear particles where if you used it, you'd be safe to drink it. That I don't know. And I'm, like I said, I'm in the midst of doing research on that to try to find that out. Furthermore, once you have done all that kind of stuff, you want to make sure that you do have your first aid kits are up to power. You have plenty of first aid and everything else. You have backup on certain types of items, gauzes and bandages, and probably you want to make sure that you have burn cream just on the chance. You want to probably make sure that you do, if you can afford, to get a decent mask. Now, I'm not talking about a COVID mask. You all know what I'm talking about. That may be something if you live in a high populated area like New York City, Los Angeles. If you live in one of these kind of cities, or if you live close to one of the major Air Force bases, maybe something you may want to think about. Having a specialized suit would be also a good thing. Secondly, to secure your home, if you're not in that dead zone that I talked about, you want to make sure that you do have plastic, and you want to make sure that you have a shit ton of duct tape, because you can use the plastic to put on your windows on the inside, especially if you're in an older home. The newer homes, the windows are pretty secure. I would almost still do it just for the security of trying to keep out as much as I possibly can to keep my family safe. But if you're in an older home, you're going to want to make sure that you cover those windows and tape them up really well. You're going to want to cover around all your doors. You want to stuff under your doors and stuff with towels or whatever. I would highly suggest, if it came down to that one particular scenario where the catastrophic event is going to happen, is to use spray foam around your door, because you don't want anything seeping in. And the spray foam sets up pretty much instantly. If you've never used it before, it's pretty instant. Once you start spraying it, when you spray it wherever you want to seal up, it foams right up, hardens right up, and it's pretty fast. It's not using glue or something like that. And then if you needed to get out, you could always take a knife, cut through it, and then you would be able to exit your home. But at that point in time, you wouldn't want to be doing that. You want to make sure that you do have one room in your house, if possible, that doesn't have any doors, windows, or anything like that, that you could use as a safe haven, maybe for you and your family, depending on your situation, the type of home you live in. Maybe it's some place where you could store your food, most of your water, your emergency stuff, and all this kind of stuff, to try to keep it in the center of a room. A wooden house is much worse to be in than a block home, because most block homes are solid block walls. Like my walls here in Florida are all block, and they're filled with concrete. So they're solid block, which is a very good thing. You start dealing with the wooden homes, they don't have the density to try to keep out the radiation and all this kind of stuff. Whereas in block does. It won't do it 100%. It just depends on how close you are to that dead zone that I talked about. But you have to remember is that zone is very important. And none of us really know where that spot's going to be until more than likely the last few minutes. So the chances of you jumping in your car and trying to leave ain't going to happen, unfortunately. So I think one of the main reasons the government isn't telling us anything or telling us to prepare is we'll know just before it happens. For one, I don't think they really want to freak us out either, because, a lot of people would freak out. You think March of 2020 was bad when Charlie Victor 19 hit? There wouldn't be nothing left in the store. People are probably just going in and start stealing. And you probably have all these people trying to steal all this stuff that ain't going to save your life. Oh, yeah, let me grab that big screen TV. Yeah, okay. You go right ahead and you do that. It's not going to matter. But you really have to sit back. You have to make a plan. That's why I'm very big on making a plan. A plan covers you under any type of an emergency. A plan will cover exactly what you have, where you may be going, how you're going to get there, what routes you're going to take, who's going to be notified. Anything and everything goes into your plan. And that plan is executed for any type of emergency type situation. That plan is there for you and your family to fall back on if something happens in a catastrophic event. That plan is there so that everybody out here can make sure that they understand the importance of what we need to be doing. Everybody in your family needs to know what that plan is. Everybody needs to know what their part is in playing out in this plan. We can all sit here and we can talk and we can discuss and everything else. But in the end, folks, it's really up to you. It's up to every individual person out there what they want to do with the information that I have been sharing. Because the question still stands is, why is the government not telling us to prepare? Why do they not want us to be ready? Why is it that they don't see fit to try to take care of or warn the American people here? Why is it? We are the people. They are the government. I guarantee you that they're going to be very well taken care of. They just spent $300 million on basically nuclear drugs. Now, you can go out and you can buy your own. I'm not a doctor, so don't hold me to that. You guys can do whatever you can. I'm just giving you a little bit of information on what you could do. But there are stuff out that you can buy. You can get it right from Amazon. The point of this is we all have to really sit here and ponder. And some people really have to think, I don't know what to do. I have no idea where to start. All the people out there that are not preppers, all the people out there that are non-believers, that anything like this could happen to this country. If that was the case, then why did we have the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis, and we had bunkers, and we had Geiger counters, and we had masks, we had suits, we had stuff in bunkers? I've been to one. My old school that I went to years ago had a bunker in it. It had food and water, and the whole 9 yards was in this thing. Seen it with my own eyes. But it's all been forgotten about. It's all part of history. Nobody really wants to think that anything like this could ever happen. Nobody will do something like this. A madman that's pushed into a corner with a button he can push to make his point for at least a brief momentary lapse of reason. Yep, that's all it would take. And then we're all sitting here wondering exactly what the heck just happened and what do I do now? Because at that point, people, it's too late. You have what you have, and that's it. Good luck. And I don't mean to sound cruel. I don't mean to sound like I don't care, which is just the opposite. Because if I didn't care, I wouldn't even have this channel. And for you that have been following me for a very long time, or even just a short period of time, you know that for a fact. Because I sit here and I tell you a lot. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing, and the reason I talk about the things, and the reason I tell people things, and I do some of these videos and everything else is because I genuinely care about all of you out there that is watching this video. You're taking the time out of your busy day to sit here on a live stream with me on a Saturday night when you could be out drinking and dancing, and you're sitting here with me. And I appreciate that. But I hope ever somebody out of all this gets some good information out of this, and nothing else, wakes you up to start gathering the information that you need so that you can be prepared. Now, am I telling you to run out and buy everything at the store and everything else tomorrow? No, I'm not. But I'm telling you, you need to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, folks. Gathering up your supplies. Think of yourself as the squirrel. The squirrel collects nuts and all kinds of stuff all year round, especially during the spring, summer, and fall, because the squirrel is getting ready for winter. So this way here, the squirrel doesn't have to come out that much in the winter. The squirrel can eat off of his bounty that he has put up for the winter. It's a very good explanation on why you need to be a prepper. You see, because there's a lot of animals that are like that. It's just not humans. We all need to be prepared. We have to make sure that we are doing our part. Because in the end, folks, the government's not telling us what's going on and telling us to prepare for a reason. I don't exactly know what that reason is. I don't work for the government. But it should be a huge red flag to all the Americans that are watching this and wondering what is going on. Something doesn't smell right. What do I need to do to offset whatever they have planned? That's the question, because they're not going to tell us nothing until it's too late. All right, folks, I'm going to jump over here. If you have any questions or anything, please put them in all capital letters. I would really, really appreciate that. And let's jump over here and see what is going on. I'm going to try to scroll back up, but I think I have a feeling it's just going to bounce me right back down. So let's see how far back up it'll let me go here. Armageddon Preparedness, welcome. And yes, you are totally correct. It is basically exactly like if you take too much vitamin C or any vitamins too much, it's just going to filter it right out. Brian says, I'm not worried about Russia, but I'm worried about Rocket Man in North Korea. Now, I have a theory on that one. I think little Rocket Man, as you called him, which I like, I think that he is all part of what is going on with Russia. And the reason is, let me explain. The reason is he's putting up all of a sudden now that this has all been taking place. All of a sudden now he's growing a set of you know what. So now he's trying to push his limits to see what he can get away with before somebody, slaps his hand. And at this point in time, there's nobody in our government that's going to slap his hand. They really aren't really concerned with this guy or anything else. The ones that can control him is basically China, and China's not going to control him right now because China's trying to use him as a deterrent because, China has their own agenda that they're looking to try to do, whereas they want Taiwan. So, all these little pieces of this puzzle is kind of playing together. That's why I mentioned the game Risk, okay? Because you got a lot of players on the board here. Who's the smartest one? That's what I want to know. Who's going to make the right moves, when, and how? That is all still to come. American CNC and design. I'm going to swan dive off the overpass for peace. Bring a parachute. Oh. Okay, MBG, you have a good night. Jill says, escape. Plan, I would say, underground in a leaf-proof building of sorts. Many people have been buried, things like firefighters and all this. Prepped, and I can still do it. Yes. I'm trying to see here. Any questions? Anybody got any questions? That's what I'm looking for right at the moment. Scrolling through here. Yes, I would agree, Robin. I would definitely agree. Yes, you want to make sure if something happens that there is a catastrophic event or anything like that, you want to make sure that you're bringing your pets and stuff inside because obviously, if we can't survive, they can't survive. GOD. I remember the old civil defense markers on the AM radio dial. My grandfather had one of those old radios, and I remember him explaining to me what they were when I was a little kid because I was curious and wanted to know because it had all these marks and stuff. And yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. So Jon Jones says the U.S. government radiation injections that clean the blood are about $1,200 a shot. They spent $300 million of taxpayers' money for 2,400 doses. They can only care about themselves. Citizens can't get it. So it was a shot that they bought. I wasn't aware of what it was. I really didn't research it. It was just like, okay, whatever. I saw that they purchased $300 million worth of something. Yeah, there we go. Casey Leary, yes, being under about 5 to 10 feet of dirt is actually a great bunker unless directly struck with an explosion. Exactly. Hawaiian Preppers Network 808, Dancing with My Preps. There you go. That's a good one. For you, I'm a bad squirrel. Allie B, amen. We are like Joseph. 7 years, plenty still here. Peace, love, truce. I got some things in winter and wind up radio, etc. Yeah, I mean, there are some really good deals out there. If you guys can get out there and you can find them, I mean, you can find some really good deals. I mean, they're right there. I mean, you can always go on my Amazon storefront, like I've always talked. It's not that I'm pushing my Amazon storefront. Okay, folks, I got accused of that here not too long ago. It's not that I'm pushing my Amazon storefront. If you buy something on there off my Amazon storefront, okay, yeah, I make a small commission. All right. It's more there for your knowledge. All right. You can go in there, you can find all different types of things and everything else. And this way here, it takes a lot of guessing out for you. You can click on something if you're interested in it, and then it'll take you to the page. And if you scroll down, you're going to see all these other items that go along with whatever you're looking at. So then you can make your own decision. You can compare products and what's going to work for you, what's best for your budget, and everything else. And then you buy what you need. I'm just using my Amazon storefront as a knowledge tool for everybody out there. So if you want to go in there, go in there. If you don't have to. I'm just trying to help you all out and help you gather the proper and the right equipment that you may need off of Amazon and help you out without you spending time and a lot of time doing a lot of research and looking at stuff and everything else. I break it down. I give you a lot of different options. You can do with it what you wish. All right. It's a knowledge tool for me. Squirrels are starving right now, Little Red Hen says. And American CNDC also says many squirrels steal nuts from other squirrels. And yes, that is obviously the truth. Let me just scroll right on down here. No. All right. I have to say, I'll agree with that statement. We are living in the Twilight Zone. Very good. Escape plan. I have a ham radio with no idea how to use it. Well, YouTube it. Go on YouTube and YouTube how to use whatever style radio you bought, how to use that. And I guarantee there's going to be a video out there that's going to walk you through it and show you the basics on how to use it to get the information that you may need. At least get you started and get your fingers wet on it. Everything else, you can find just about anything on YouTube. Just YouTube it, and you'll probably find a video on that ham radio that you have. Ali B, I do agree. 7 years famine is coming. It's all biblical, very sad. Most under a great delusion. Excuse me. Geo, also a huge red flag. Most are always asleep. Seeing a lot of people here, looks like a lot of people are really prepping. You're doing really good at that. Come before the storm. Jimmy C says, "Come before the storm. Soon they will try removing 90% of us." That will be very interesting to do in this country. New York put on nuclear readiness propaganda. Yeah, I remember something like that came out. Wasn't it just a while back here or something? They sent something out or something like that. It's going to be interesting, because Europe's running their nuclear little test scrimmage, whatever you want to call it. They're doing that this week amidst everything else that's going on. So I wonder if good old Putin will take that as, oh, he's being attacked or something. Lord only knows. But yeah, that's happening this week. All right. They are planning to reset the humans again. Yes, we'll be back to square wheels and trying to start a fire. I need to make some cornbread, but I'm so lazy to do it. Peace, love, and truth. How to heat a home. Well, I mean, in that type of situation, it may be very difficult. You don't know what's going to be taking place, what's in the air, the whole 9 yards. I would highly suggest stocking up on a lot of blankets, a lot of wool blankets, clothing, and this type of stuff to make sure that everybody can stay warm and alive. The Rock Doc need to be aware and they play as a radiation is when they play as prescription medicine used to treat low. One of the main issues with the poison dart. Okay. All right, folks. We're pushing right up there. We're at about 55 minutes right now. And we're going to get going on this because I just keep jumping. There's so many people commenting right now. It's just incredible. There's a lot of great information on here. I mean, there really is. There's just so much. This community has grown into something that's really great. This community, a lot of people help out a lot of people. A lot of people are, they really are sitting here and they want to help people. You have these people that are really interested into making sure that people are going to survive. You got people that are interested in making sure that people can thrive. They know what to do. They try to help people out. This is just a great community that has been built. I haven't built it. All of you people have been building this community. I just started this community. I try to make sure that I contribute my part, and then new people all do the same. It is just it's an amazing thing. Um, I I really, really do think that a lot of people out here are generally concerned about what is taking place in our country right now and about what is not being told to us. And I think it's very important for everybody to get out there and do your part to be prepared, because that's what we have to do. I do have several videos coming out this week. Tomorrow's video is a very good video on Walmart, and I think everybody should watch this video. It's very informational. I did a lot of research on this video. It's just not talking about a store. It's talking about what is going on and everything else. There is some more videos and stuff coming out this week. We will have I don't know, a live stream next weekend. We're going to announce what we're going to be doing for our next giveaways and everything else. I want everybody to stay safe. Everybody out there, you keep prepping, doing what you're doing. Thank you for being here, taking time out on your Saturday night. I really do truly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And everybody just needs to be aware, watch out for the red flags, and keep prepping. And until next time, I'll catch you all on the flip side.